let's go to a purchase I made this week. I think it
Right.
was yesterday. I bought 70% more Rivian shares at
Ooh,
$12.69 a
that was
share.
great timing. And
It
Rivian went
was
up 5% today, right?
it was also the low of yesterday. It was crazy
How,
timing.
how did you time that? That's really, really good. That's
Mostly luck. So we talked about this, and here's the Rivian chart for the last 6 months. We talked about this last episode because we had a listener question ask if I was going to buy Rivian at these levels, and I said I have a price target, um, and I don't know if I'm being stubborn or not with just waiting for it. I don't remember if I said the price target, but it was $12.90 was what I was
oh,
looking for,
wow.
and back in February, it went down to, like, $13.60, and I was
Okay.
kicking myself because after it did that, it shot up to $17.70. I was like, "Ah,
Right.
should have bought," like, and this is an example of, like, when, waiting for a specific price target just does not work well.
Did
With
yeah,
that
it
said,
did
I
not
already
work.
had a big Rivian position, and I was not, like, uh I didn't need to buy more Rivian, like, if
Yeah.
I was starting a position, I wouldn't be as strict, um, but I whatever, I decided to be stubborn, and it happened to pay off now, again, I was kicking myself in February, but in May, it actually went down lower than 12.90. I don't set up, automatic, buys and sells. I set up just price alerts so then I could just assess before I do anything. So by the time I saw the alert, the stock happened to be down to, like, 12.70,
Mm.
which is when I bought it. So that was total luck. But this is an example, and I know you don't like to hear it, where some basic technical analysis can help identify where there might be some opportunities. So but it is luck. It's not, facts.
Right, right. I was actually tempted to add to my Rivian position as well yesterday. Today I just looked up the price. It did end the day up 6.5%. So that was great timing on your part. But yeah, Rivian continues to be a phenomenal story where the stock price, in my view, does not match the story of the company. The company, by the way, they just released their R2 configurator, which is pretty sweet. I don't know if have you played around with this thing yet?
I played around with it a little bit, just daydreaming, uh,
Yeah.
which version I could potentially get.
Okay.
What would be your, R2 configuration? Do
So,
you know?
so just like looking at the R2 configurator here, the performance model, which is the 57,990, which they're releasing this spring. So essentially, this month or next month, they're going to start deliveries on this thing. Is the one that I would definitely go with. It includes the launch package, which includes Autonomy Plus, the a key fob, which these days, because your phone is your key, is like not as important, but it's nice to have. The tow package, and then uh, the all-wheel drive is obviously included, and it includes this sort of like Esker silver paint. If you want a different paint color, that's going to cost more. So I mean, I don't mind this paint color, but I would probably go with the Half Moon Gray. I think this is sort of like a nicer paint color.
Yeah, that's nice. I would do the blue or the green. I think the blue is called Catalina Cove, but
Yeah,
I like to call it
it's
Savvy Trader
sharp.
Blue, personally.
I like that. Um, but yeah, they've done a great job with this configurator too, and I love the wheels, the standard wheels that it comes with. I would not change the wheels. It also lowers the
I
range
didn't
from 330 miles to 307 if you
Okay,
change
I
the
didn't
wheels.
notice that because I was looking at the, premium package, and that has different wheel options, um,
Oh, okay, yeah,
and
and
it
then
has
and
different
then
standard wheels.
yeah, and then I would prefer the light interior, but it's not
Me too.
available at launch. It says coming late 2026. So I'd probably just go with the black interior, just so that I'd get it sooner. But the light interior looks super sharp again. So
It's really nice. It
um,
also it makes such a big difference on a hot day, and I mean, you're from
oh yeah,
Arizona,
yeah,
like, it's
no
the
question.
car just dramatically is, not as hot. And you said Autonomy Plus is included. Typically, that costs
20
2,500?
2,500. So they're including it for the with the launch edition. They said, I believe, for a limited amount of time. So not sure for how long, but basically the Autonomy Plus includes all of their autonomy capabilities, and as it improves, it's included, and for the life of the car. So you don't have to pay a monthly subscription. So you can choose to pay a monthly subscription at $50 a month too if you buy a different edition than the launch edition.
Got it.
So
That's
in
awesome.
my view, the launch edition is the one to go with. It also has like Porsche level acceleration. So you're going 0 to 60 in
Right.
3.5 seconds. I mean, it's just a phenomenal car in terms of performance and range and capabilities. And you can also take it off road, and you can have 5 passengers and, beat a Porsche 911 at a red light, right? It's just like, how much better than that can it get? So I love the potential of this company. So this company just keeps getting better, and its stock price just keeps going lower.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
that was another reason why I bought yesterday is it's just I feel like we're at this, turning point for the company right before the R2s start to deliver that this just seemed
yeah,
like such a great opportunity. One other thing I wanted to call out about Rivian is they have a price to sales ratio of about 3, which
yeah.
seems pretty low, for a company in this space, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
Well, it depends what you mean by this space. If you mean relative to Tesla, yes, it's extremely low. If you, by this
Yes,
space you mean the car
but,
industry, the car
right,
industry has historically gotten a price to sales ratio of like under 1, which is understandable considering the car industry as a whole is not growing. So, Ford's revenues today are roughly what Ford's revenues were 10 years ago, and same with GM. And in fact, they might be slightly lower, but, especially inflation adjusted. Whereas companies, like a Rivian is expected to grow revenues like 50% year over year. That's just not going to happen for Ford or GM or anything like that. So it makes sense for there to be a premium. Now, that said, Rivian's financials are going to get worse before they get better because they're still losing money, and
right.
they are not anticipated to be cash flow positive for at least another year, maybe longer. So this company is going to need to either raise more money or become extremely conservative with it, with the way in which it spends. So chances are there will be more dilution events that occur. Now, the good news is that it has enough money to get through the next roughly 1 year. So it's not like urgent, where like Lucid, for example, has to raise money like all the time in order for it to survive a few more months. Uh, but it's not like the perfect place that you want to be as a company where you have to raise within the next year in order to sort of make it. But as the stock price, if the stock price were to sort of start going up because it starts making deliveries of R2s, and the R2 customers become fans, and those fans are like, well, I want to own a piece of this company, then it is possible that the stock price could go up significantly from here. And then as it goes up, it becomes easier and easier to raise more money. And this is exactly, how Tesla was able to sort of like raise the many billions of dollars that it needed to sort of survive and make it to profitability. So I'm, optimistic, obviously, that something like that will happen for Rivian.
Me too.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
the voice
Hey,
Hello.
from
Adrian,
the
jump
voice
in.
from nowhere.
The
Um,
voice in the cloud.
yeah, but I just wanted to jump in here. A couple people are asking a little bit more about Rivian. So this person, you kind of have already been talking about your excitement, but this person wants to know at what point would you question buying more?
Yeah, so for everybody, it's their comfort level, right? Like Rivian happens to be my second largest investment, only after Micron. It was my largest investment prior to Micron that I've ever made in any company. So it's still the second largest investment I've ever made in any company, and it's actually very close to my Micron investment. Now, the price, yes, is back down to just around what I purchased it at. Um, Would I add more? Maybe, but I'm also, my portfolio is also at like an all-time high, so hovering around all-time highs. So I'm trying to reduce cash, and I'm again going to have a massive tax bill, so I'm trying to plan for those things. So I might delay purchasing for now and see what happens.